Good evening, Richmond County, and welcome to the RO Sports Show brought to you by RO Yellow, Richmond County's new online business directory. I'm Russell Parker. Let's get right into the big game that was Friday. Of course, the big Richmond-Scotland rivalry game at Pate Stadium in Laurinburg. When wide receiver Jacoby Baldwin hauled in a 34-yard touchdown pass from junior quarterback Caleb Hood at the 1:25 mark of the second quarter. He would give the #1 Raiders all the points they would need to secure back-to-back Sandhills Athletic Conference championships. But the Richmond defense and offense weren't finished as they combined to tally 5 unanswered scores to defeat rival Scotland 48-13 on the road. The Raiders outscored Scotland 28-0 in the second half to remain perfect. The victory served as Richmond's first win at Pate Stadium since 2009, and it capped the program's first undefeated regular season since 2006. In the two teams' 53rd all-time meeting, the Raiders' 35-point margin of victory was the second largest by Richmond in this storied rivalry's history. The Raiders maintained their status as the SAC champion behind a balanced offensive attack that saw 3 passing scores and 3 rushing touchdowns. The defense would also add a score when senior linebacker Gavin Russell scooped up a fumble and returned it for 22 yards to the house. So with the 2019 regular season in the books, Richmond sits with an 11-0 and 7-0 in the SAC. Now let's talk about playoffs for this state. The road to the West region of the NCHSAA 4AA Football State Championship will run through Raider Stadium this year. Final playoff brackets were released Saturday afternoon, and Richmond was seeded as the #1 team in the West bracket. The Raiders will also have home field advantage throughout the course of this year's postseason. On paper, the West bracket is a gauntlet made up of 4 double-digit win teams, sitting at 11-0 on the season. Richmond is matched by #4 Myers Park as the only undefeated teams in the West. #2 Mallard Creek enters the playoffs 10-0-1, and #5 Ardrey Kell is 10-1. Other SAC schools who made the 4AA were #6 Pinecrest in the West and Hope County at #7 in the East. In 4A play, Scotland ranks 6th in the East. Joining them are #7 Jack Britt and #8 71st, also in the East. Last season, Richmond was 10-1 overall and nabbed a #2 seed in a bye. The Raiders defeated #10 Reagan 49-7 before falling to #6 Myers Park in the 3rd round. Now the Raiders will get a week off from competition as the first round is set for this coming Friday, but it doesn't mean their preparations will stop. Of course, Richmond will get the winner of the #8 Hugh and the #9 Olympic game in the second round, which is slated for Friday, November 22nd. As the fall sports season begins to wind down, the winter season is heating up. Fresh off its first week of practice, the Richmond boys basketball program got its first taste of competition on Saturday at Southern Lee High School. Third-year head coach Donald Pettigrew and the Raider varsity team played in 2 scrimmages against High Point Central and Broughton. And the JV team, they got to play against Grays Creek's varsity program. To open the day, Richmond defeated High Point Central 44-14 before rolling past Broughton 71-39. The JV team capped their day with a 61-44 loss to Grays Creek. The Raiders bring back several varsity stars from last season, including junior point guard Patrick P.J. McClellan, junior forward Nige Stroman, senior center Jarvis Tillman, and senior guard Clemere Civils, among others. All 4 were in action Saturday, but Richmond was without a handful of players due to football, including Caleb Hood, Keelan Hood, Jacoby Baldwin, Dalton Stroman, and C.J. Tillman. Richmond will have one more scrimmage next Saturday at Wilson High School in Florence. The Raiders officially opened the season on Tuesday, November 19th at home against Anson. The girls basketball team and second-year head coach Teddy Mosley were also able to put their preseason efforts to work on Saturday. They competed in 2 scrimmages at Terry Sanford High School. With just over a week separating the Lady Raiders from their season opener against Anson, the team picked up 2 wins. Richmond began the day with a 44-6 win over host Terry Sanford before ending the day with a 21-7 victory over Douglas Byrd. Richmond is a mix of returning veterans and some fresh faces this season. Leading the team Saturday were junior Shakira Covington and Jayla McDougald, senior Bree Wall, as well as senior transfer Kiona Love, who returned to the Lady Raiders after a season at the O'Neill School. New to the varsity level this winter will be juniors Kelly and Shelly Hoffman, along with freshman Kyla Sampson. RO Sports has published a full varsity season preview this week, complete with Raider video chat segments of players and coaches from both basketball squads, as well as the Raider wrestling team. All of that can be found on richmondobserver.com. It had been 521 days since Kayla Hawkins made her verbal commitment to play softball at Coker University, and the rising senior softball player finally made it official on Wednesday during her official signing day. Wednesday marked the first day that Division II athletes could sign their letters of intent, and Hawkins jumped on the opportunity to ink her future as a Cobra softball player. She verbally committed to play for head coach Travis McCall in 2018, just weeks after the end of her sophomore season. Hawkins became the first Richmond student athlete of the class of 2020 to sign her future home, celebrating in Richmond's Media Center. Gearing up for her fourth and final year on the varsity team, Hawkins has proven to be a strong asset on offense too. Through her 88 career games played, she's compiled a .296 batting average with 17 career home runs and 66 runs batted in. While she's excited to join the Cobras in Hartsville next summer, Hawkins isn't overlooking her role as a senior leader on this year's Lady Raider team. Time for your middle school sports report. The Rockingham football team saw its postseason luck run out Wednesday in the SEMSAC championship game. After winning a three-way tiebreaker last week to send them to the title bout as the West Division representative, the Rockets would put forth a valiant first quarter effort but lost in the season finale to Carver 30-6. The 24-point win proved to be the Eagles' third straight SEMSAC title and second consecutive championship win over the Rockets. Last season, Carver defeated Rockingham 20-0 on its home field. When the two teams played earlier this fall, the Eagles blanked the Rockets. Although his team would come up short, first-year head coach LaCorey McCray said he couldn't be prouder of his team's efforts all season. The Rockets finished the 2019 season with 4-4, having gone 3-1 against SEMSAC West Division opponents. Carver finished the season undefeated. Austin Hart, a senior offensive lineman on the Richmond Raider football team, has been named the Week 12 official Richmond County Male Athlete of the Week, presented by Moss Brothers Tire and Service. Hart and the Raiders are coming off a blowout win over rival Scotland last Friday, handing the Fighting Scots a 48-13 loss to earn their second straight SAC title. The 35-point win also secured Richmond's undefeated season since 2006 and helped see the Raiders earn a number 1 seed in the 4AA Western bracket of the playoffs. This is Hart's first career recognition.
So Austin, obviously you guys are coming off a big week with the Raider football team. You had a 48-13 blowout over rival Scotland. You guys won the SAC title on Friday. So my first question to you is just kind of explain what that atmosphere was like in that really intense game.
It was a great atmosphere, and it was very fun to be around.
What were some of the feelings after you guys won the second straight conference title?
Everybody, we were all happy, and I feel like it brought back some great culture back to this program.
Absolutely, and you and Coach Till and the rest of the Raiders are really doing that the last couple of years. Next, the offensive line often kind of gets overlooked, so you guys had a big task on Friday against some big defensive linemen, Jason Romero, Zamir Reddick. So just kind of tell us what worked for you and what adjustments you made throughout the game.
We made sure we were focusing a lot on our assignments, making sure we were getting to blocking the correct defensive linemen up to the linebackers, and trying to keep Caleb safe and keep a good pocket during pass plays.
Yeah, and absolutely, you guys did not allow any sacks in that game, and Scotland came in averaging 3.3 sacks a game, so good job there by the offensive line. When there's to kind of talk about how things are different when you have a designated run play or a designated pass play. How do you block differently to protect Caleb?
Well, on a pass play, we're trying to keep a pocket set around him so no defensive lineman, of course, get to him. And on a run play, we're trying to generate movement upfield to get to the second level and so on to protect the ball.
Talking about protecting those guys in the second, you had 3 passing scores in the first half and then 3 rushing scores in the second half. So just kind of talk about what worked well when it came to opening up those holes for those 3 long touchdown runs in the second half.
I think it had to do a lot of just focusing on the assignments, getting where we're supposed to get to, and just generating a lot of movement on our blocks.
Okay. So, Austin, we're going to kind of switch over to our Raider Rapid Response segment, which, again, some more personal questions about you. We're going to stick with football here for a little bit. So, I understand that the offensive line generally goes out to dinner at some point during the week. So, why is that so special to spend that time with your other offensive linemen and your quarterbacks?
It just helps create a brotherhood, show that we're all family, and that we're working as one.
Okay. Coach McSween, who's the offensive line coach, he's been doing this a long time. So what about him as a coach has benefited you most as a football player?
He's straight up with you. He's a nice guy, and he's always there to help you.
Okay. You're on the Raider Leadership Council. So as a representative to the team, how do you try to bring your leadership skills to your teammates on and off the field?
I just try to help them do the right thing and show them the right way, and always show a good example on the football field.
Okay. What are some things that you hope to achieve this year, whether that be academically or athletically?
This year I want to make AB honor roll and make all conference for the second time.
Okay. And last question for you, Austin. If you could summarize in a sentence or two what it means to be a Raider football player, just kind of tell us what it means to be a Raider football player.
Always keeping a high standard and playing to your best ability.
Congratulations once again to Austin Hart for making this week's official Richmond County Male Athlete of the Week, presented by Moss Brothers Tire and Service. And that's going to do it for us here at the RO Sports Show for this week. Of course, for the latest updates on every sport in Richmond County, you can head on over to richmondobserver.com and follow the Ross Facebook page for your weekly wrap-up. You can also find some exclusive RO Sports content across all the RO Sports social media platforms. In the meantime, I'm Russell Parker. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on the RO Sports Show.